All right, I decided to use the Bennington BYOD program that was on the Omaha World Herald website. So basically, just to kind of sum up what the article was about, basically they were just kind of highlighting how in Bennington in 2015 they basically started their own Bring Your Own Device program. Um, they talked about how it's not too new to use technology in the classroom. However, it was unique to kind of have students bringing their own device. It's optional at Bennington. Um, and basically, what the article talks about for how the Bring Your Own Device program works in Bennington is in Bennington, it's not mandatory. You can bring your own device with parent permission. Um, the school basically had to increase their own technological capabilities, like they had to improve their internet. Um, they had to have some of their own devices on hands. Um, that was kind of one of the big things the article emphasized was even though it is bring your own device and kind of in a way to kind of bridge the digital divide and kind of make sure that students who, for example, might have parents who just don't want them to bring devices to school, the school had devices that the students could check out. So that was kind of their way to bridge the divide. I'm trying to think of anything else. The article also talked about how, like in Nebraska in general, bring your own device is not necessarily new, and how a lot of school districts, like only about 23 have them in name, but most of them have them in practice. In fact, I know Superior, for example, we have one where basically you can bring your own device. It's got to be off though, unless the teacher specifically gives you permission to turn them on. And the article talked about how that's basically essentially bring your own device, even if it's not necessarily in name. And I just kind of talked about the positives of how it's good, helping uh, helping to bring kids the technology they need to use this technology in school, and how it really just kind of takes advantage of the technology kids already bring to school anyway. Um, and so that kind of really summarized the article. What were my thoughts on the article? It wasn't really like an academic article, so it wasn't really about an agreeing, disagreeing with the author. So what I would want to more focus on is like how Bennington is doing their BYOD program. And I would say in general, like for me, that's probably the kind of program I would be most okay with. Um, Barring going one to one, I think if you're going to do a BYOD program, I think it's got to be optional. And I really think you've got to have, like they do in Bennington, you've got to have devices on hand. Otherwise, you are just going to have a gap between the haves and the have-nots. And there can't really be a stigma on those who bring stuff and those who don't. It's got to be kind of equal in that way. But otherwise, I mean, it is a good way. It's kind of something where you can't really use it as a money-saving thing. I know a lot of times that's how it's brought up, but it really can't be used in a money-saving way. So I kind of agree with the article in that way. But it is perhaps a good way to just, get students to use devices they're comfortable with, to be creative, and use the technology they already have. So all in all, I kind of just agreed with the article, and I thought in general, unless the school is one-to-one, to me, how Bennington implements their BYOD program to me just kind of made sense for how most schools should be implementing their own technology rules. So those are my thoughts.